you know what Batman I would absolutely love to see get adapted in a film, in particular a live action film? The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. Can you imagine this costume in live action, in animation, like a full Batman R.I.P. movie? That'd be amazing. Anytime I'm able to see an unhinged Batman or Bruce Wayne, I need front row seats for that. Welcome back, Gothamites. If you're new here, hi. I'm London, aka History of the Batman. While I can 100% appreciate an original story for the Batman on the big screen, you gotta love a Batman movie, TV show, video game, etc. that takes the source material of Batman comic books and is inspired by those wonderful stories to create a Batman for this media. For this video, I wanted to briefly highlight 10 Batman stories that definitely need to be adapted in a live action movie. And while it would be fantastic to see a full live action movie of arcs such as Batman Hush and Batman Year One, since both of those movies have been made into animated films, they will not be included, whereas other arcs we will be discussing on this list have loosely, very loosely, been adapted into other Batman films and projects over the last several years. But before we begin our discussion on the possible future of Batman movies, why don't you subscribe to this channel and become a part of this wonderful Gothamite community. The first story that came to mind automatically when I was creating this list was definitely the 2002 DC Comics crossover saga Bruce Wayne Fugitive and Bruce Wayne Murderer. Spanning across practically every current Batman publication at the time in 2002, seemingly Bruce Wayne has killed his current love interest, Vesper Fairchild, in Wayne Manor and is sent to prison for that murder. And while Bruce is in prison, the Bat family have to go out and try to figure out who actually committed this crime. However, as the evidence piles up, it kind of shows a very obvious motive for Bruce Wayne to have to kill Vesper, and that is the fact that people believe that Vesper knew his identity of being the Batman. So when everyone is against Bruce, literally he has to take it upon himself to prove that he is innocent. So he not only breaks out of prison, but he actually leaves behind his identity of Bruce Wayne, saying he is a fugitive, I can't be connected with him anymore, and the only identity that exists and matters is Batman. And honestly, isn't that what Bruce is always about? There are several reasons why this story would be killer, no pun intended, on the big screen. You can literally use any of the Batman family members because all of them participated in this. A fantastic focus on both the Batman mantle and Bruce Wayne. So the fact that we're out here saying that this man killed his girlfriend and he has to like break out of prison and be Batman and shoo away his civilian guys. I just think that's really interesting and that would be really dope to develop in a film. The next story arc is a very obvious choice. That is, of course, the 1999 saga Batman No Man's Land. That began with the arcs Batman Contagion and Batman Legacy, which followed Batman and John Paul Valley and the Batman family trying to stop the Ebola virus that Ra's al Ghul is trying to spread to wipe out the population because that's his shtick. And all of that leads to the arc Cataclysm, which shows the 7.6 earthquake hitting Gotham City and literally destroying it. On top of the plague and on top of the earthquake, the US government decides Gotham City is a wreck and we just can't deal with that right now. So we're going to cut you off from the US and you are literally going to be a no man's land. The entire really detailed big Batman crossover arc that spanned over a year. It tells the story of not just the Gothamites, but also the Batman family, the villains. Every single person that you know and don't know in Gotham is represented in this story. And that dynamic sense of characterization and mythology that's just in this one story put on the big screen, I don't understand how you can't see it. We have seen No Man's Land in different projects before, from 2012's Dark Knight Rises storyline to even video games such as Batman Arkham City in 2011. But I want a whole movie just dedicated to that storyline. This next story is one of my favorites for several reasons, and I think it is a gem from the late 1980s. And that is the Mike W. Barr story, The Doomsday Book, which was originally published in 1987's 50th anniversary issue of Detective Comics, which was in Detective issue 572. And this issue wasn't just monumental for the Batman character himself, but also for another fictional character that influenced the Batman creation back in 1939 by Bill Finger, and that is of course Sherlock Holmes, who in this year was celebrating the 100th anniversary of his debut. This story has so many gems, not just Sherlock Holmes, but Batman also teams up with Elongated Man and Slam Bradley. This random trio traveled to London, of all places. They traveled to me, no. You have no idea how many times I've said that really bad joke in all of the years I have been alive. I'm sorry. Traveled to London because there was an apparent threat against the royal family, and so that trio team up, and the only way they could protect the family is to look through old manuscripts from Sherlock Holmes himself. I would love to see the Doomsday Book on the big screen because not only does it include amazing characters that don't get enough shine within the comic book universe, but I also love the idea of seeing a Sherlock Holmes interacting with Batman, especially since Sherlock Holmes was such a huge inspiration for the creation of the Caped Crusader. And a Batman on the streets of London, England, that's literally amazing. The next one is a saga that has spanned many years. The Head of the Demon, Birth of the Demon saga that was began by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams back in the early 1970s with issues such as Batman 232, which introduces the eco-terrorist villain Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, however you like to pronounce it. And these stories also include his lovely and deadly, horrible person of a daughter, Talia al Ghul, who of course discovers Bruce Wayne is Batman and he's her beloved, and they start their whole whirlwind romance. Leads into stories such as Mike W. Barr's Batman, Son of the Demon, that shows Batman and Talia getting married and consummating that marriage, which gets Talia pregnant. But then when she worries about raising a child with Batman, which we've had that conversation with other women in Bruce's life before, it is literally a problem. But she said, oh, I lost the baby, I had a miscarriage. But then the end of that story shows that Talia actually had the baby. That baby comes back into regular Batman continuity under Grant Morrison and Andy Kubert in the story Batman and Son, which was in 2006, and that is how we get the character Damian Wayne. Now, while stories from Batman 232 to even Batman 244 in The Demon Lives Again have been seen in animation before, including the episodes The Demon Quest Part 1 and 2 for Batman the Animated Series. I want to see stories like Denny O'Neil and Norm Brayfogel's Birth of the Demon from 1992. All of the mysticism and just pure fantasy that surrounds Ra's and Talia's life with the League of Assassins and Lazarus Pits and everything would be such an incredible visual feat to put on the big screen. Yes, I know we got a Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul in the Dark Knight trilogy, but I don't want the realism. I want the full-on fantastical vision that is Ra's. I don't want a watered down, let's try to fit this in a continuity that makes everything seem like it's real, that it can actually happen in real life. Nah, I don't want that. That whole Head of the Demon, Birth of the Demon series, I want to see stories and all of that pieced together to be in a movie. I think that would be extraordinary. This next story I talk about all the time. It is such a great series that I think any Batman fan needs to read. I need everyone to read the late 70s arc Batman Strange Apparitions. I just need you to do it. Headed by creators such as Steve Englehart, Terry Austin, Marshall Rogers, Len Wein, Walt Simonson, Batman Strange Apparitions is a late 1970s Detective Comics arc that focuses on not only bringing to life new characters from Dr. Phosphorus to even the love interest Silver St. Cloud. I love Silver St. Cloud. She is my girl. To even bringing now iconic stories such as The Laughing Fish, which has been made into an animated episode for Batman the Animated Series because it's iconic. There are several reasons why Strange Apparitions should be made to a movie. One, because it almost was. Steve Englehart, when the many initial treatments of the script for 1989's Batman, he was part of that creative process and was going to implement a lot of the plot and characterization from Strange Apparitions into Tim Burton's movie. I mean, that's the reason why if you look at Kim Basinger's Vicky Vale, she's not the redhead that Vicky Vale is in comics, but she's this bombastic blonde bombshell because that's what Silver St. Cloud looks like. Then things get all muddled up in the creative process because we know how that goes. So none of that really came to light. But I want to see a full-on adaptation of the entire arc. I want to see us dive into really seeing who the man is behind the mask, and that is Batman, because the mask is Bruce Wayne. And that is the first time you really see that theme and concept realized in a Batman arc. Please, please, please go read Batman Strange Apparitions. It is a fantastic Batman story. It is. It's so good. Another one that I should quickly mention, but totally should be adapted into something. That is Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's Batman Earth 1, which was originally published in 2012, and then the second volume was eventually published in 2015. Definitely a refreshing take on the origin and evolution of Bruce Wayne becoming the Batman. After Bruce's parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne, are gunned down by a mugger who took Bruce hostage for ransom, Alfred Pennyworth becomes his legal guardian. Now, of course, this is normal within the regular Batman mythos. However, this Alfred is a G. He was a soldier in the Royal Marines. He is skilled in martial arts and other combat, and he has a killer shot. And literally, Alfred is here helping to train Bruce to not be. He toughens him up, to say the least. And that Alfred has inspired many different Alfreds portrayed in other media, from the Alfred in the 2013 short-lived Cartoon Network show Beware the Batman, to even Jeremy Irons' Alfred Pennyworth in the DCEU. Sean Pertwee's Alfred in Gotham was inspired by this Alfred too. I just need to see this Alfred in all of his glory on the big screen. I also really want to see the relationship between Batman and Harvey and Jessica Dent. Harvey Dent, he has a twin sister named Jessica Dent. I would like to see the Two-Face story kind of get a spin with this twin sister thing, which totally makes sense because the dual everything and having a twin, it's kind of like what Bruce Timm did in his Batman Black and White story, Two of a Kind. Two-Face has fallen in love with a woman and she has kept the fact secret that she is a twin because of Harvey's mind, and I love stuff like that. I want to see a young Batman out here struggling in these streets. We love to see it. And since I'm not mentioning Year One, since it was made into an animated film, Earth 1's gonna have to do for me. The next story is one of my favorite Batman stories of all time. It is also one of the greatest Denny O'Neil Batman stories of all time. It is also beautifully illustrated by Trevor Von Eaton and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. And that is, of course, the Legends of the Dark Knight 5-issue arc, Batman Venom. I know I have talked about this many times on this channel before. One in particular is my video where I discuss Batman stories that discuss real life issues, one of my favorite videos I've ever done, even if no one else cares about it, but I love content like that. This story basically shows Bruce Wayne's Batman, who feels that he has failed after he couldn't save the life of a young girl, takes this very experimental drug that her father created, which is now called the steroid Venom. And of course you see Venom literally a year later in the debut of the character Bane in Batman Vengeance on Bane #1, because that is the steroid that makes Bane into the even bigger, stronger strong man. Batman, he loves how Venom makes him feel. It makes him feel strong. It makes him feel confident. It makes him feel like he could do anything. But of course, like any drug that is such as a steroid, it is very addictive, and Batman literally becomes addicted to Venom and has to not only call Alfred and say, I need help, but he locks himself in the Batcave for 30 days to wean off of the drug, and he's able to do so, and he's able to go back out in the streets. Now, even though he's able to overcome his addiction, he's able to go through recovery successfully, he still feels that he has failed, because this is one of the most human attributes that you see within the Batman character, especially at the time. Him succumbing to his own weakness of being able to be addicted to something, because he's human and we all can go through something like that, and many people have. I have spoken to several people who have gone through drug addiction or some type of addiction and have seen this story and know the pain that Batman goes through. That would be amazing to put up on the screen, because you could talk about both the Batman mythology and serious issues such as drug and substance addiction. It is one of the best Batman stories. It is a good Batman and Bruce Wayne story, and it literally shows a hero, someone that readers and also people within the DC universe see as physical perfection and can fix any problem and can basically get through anything, go through something so troubling and so difficult, and really shows his humanity. I love the fact that he's not perfect and that he fails. I do. Because he learns from it, he evolves from every failure he goes through, and he becomes a better hero for Gotham City. How can you not love that? Oh, the next story, which I know what you're gonna say. The arc Batman Black Mirror, which was written by Scott Snyder and it was illustrated by Jock and Francesco Francavilla. Now, I want to see Batman Black Mirror because I want to see a good Dick Grayson Batman story on the big screen. And I know you're gonna say, we need him to be Robin first, and then we need him to be Nightwing, and then he can be Batman. I know those details are probably important for this. I don't know those details. Maybe you have a better idea what the studio can do to put Black Mirror on there and to have just Dick Grayson's Batman, and it's fine. I'm just not doing that right now. This is an amazing Dick Grayson story. It deals with Commissioner Gordon. It deals with Commissioner Gordon's crazy son, James Gordon Jr., who's literally a psychopathic killer that has returned to Gotham and is literally like out here trying to turn innocent babies into psychotic criminals. I want to see a Dick Grayson Batman. I want to see a Commissioner Gordon dealing with a Dick Grayson Batman. I want to see Barbara Gordon dealing with both Grayson and her father, Commissioner Gordon, and I want to see the Gordons deal with James Gordon Jr. coming back. I want to see all that with doing a live action movie that is focused on Dick Grayson's Batman. I want to see Bruce. We always see Bruce, right? Bruce is going to be the Batman because that's the Batman everyone knows. Perfectly fine with that. Which is why I would love to see a movie that doesn't have Bruce Wayne in it, that focuses on another person as Batman. And I am totally open to other people being Batman, that's within the Batman mythology, but of course Dick Grayson, he's the one. Like, so good. Ooh, next story has been loosely adapted and seen within the Batman Arkham video game universe. In particular, the first Arkham Asylum. This story influenced that video game wholeheartedly. 100%. That is, of course, Grant Morrison and Dave McKean and Gaspar Saladino's Arkham Asylum: A Serious House on Serious Earth, which came out in 1989. that is literally perfection. It is the perfect Arkham Asylum story. It is the perfect story if you want to learn about a history of Arkham, if you want to learn about the inhabitants of the insane asylum, if you want to learn how even Batman, who is trapped within Arkham and has to escape from the clutches of Joker and the other threats of Amadeus Arkham and just the history of Arkham itself, Batman has to escape from, how it messes with him psychologically, having to deal with the rogues, having to deal with the staff, having to deal with everything happening and learning information about this hell that is Arkham Asylum. I want to see that. So you don't just have to have Joker, because we always have Joker, right? Joker's always in something because it's Joker. There's also amazing characterizations of Mad Hatter and Maxie Zeus and Two-Face. Two-Face is so good. And you can even throw in Amadeus Arkham and Elizabeth Arkham, and you can even bring in other parts of the Batman mythos that ties in Martha Wayne, whose maiden name is Arkham, and she is attached to the whole Arkham Foundation. You can pull that in there if you want. I mean, the possibilities with doing Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth, and making it like a straight up horror, psychological thriller comic book movie. Like, let's go. I'm so 100% down to see a very, very dark Batman movie. And then Dave McKean's just surrealist multimedia art just out here being amazing. I would love to see that visualized. I would love to. A Batman horror movie, I'm down. And the last one, I made the last one because it's probably one of the only stories that I know, like every single person that I've ever asked or talked to about this kind of topic, like, oh, what Batman story would you want to see get the film treatment? That is always Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's Batman The Long Halloween. 13 issues, 1996, 1997. Another perfect story. I honestly think that Matt Reeves' The Batman, which is coming out next year, October 1st, 2021, seems like it is adapting large parts of The Long Halloween. Now, do I know this 100%? No, because why would I? I do want a full-on Long Halloween adaptation that is 100% faithful to the book. I want the Two-Face origin. I want Calendar Man. I want the Holiday Killer. I want all of the villains that are representing different holidays throughout the arc in it. I want a full-on, big-blown Batman movie with all these rogues. I love to see stories that have literally just droves and droves of Batman characters. You could do so much with Long Halloween and all of the other stories, and dozens of other stories. There's just so many amazing tales that have been told over the last 81 years, and that I think should get some type of recognition for being that much of a dynamic story that you can put it on the big screen, you could put it on TV, you could make it into a video game, and fans would literally just go gaga over it. Now, don't get me wrong, I am very excited for the future DC and Batman films that are coming out. I cannot wait. But it's always nice to think of what possibly the future could hold for the Dark Knight in all of this media that we love every day. Thank you guys so much for watching this video about the 10 best Batman stories that deserve a live action film adaptation. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a bat thumbs up. As always, all my social media is linked in the description below, including Instagram at History of the Batman. So why don't you give it a follow and become a Gothamite? Check out the rest of my Batman videos on this channel. And of course, please subscribe to this channel so you can become part of this Batman community. It would mean so much to me. Oh, I wanted to remind you guys that I could officially announce the day and time for my virtual panel that I did for Comic-Con at Home, which is San Diego Comic-Con's virtual con that is happening because COVID. As I mentioned in a past video, I am doing a panel and I talked with both Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, who, if you are a DC person, you know that they did the long Harley Quinn run. And also they have done other Batman and DC books. They have the company Paper Films. They do incredible Kickstarters, and they are a fantastic source if you want to know how to jump into creating your own comics. That panel will go live on San Diego Comic-Con's channel Thursday, July 23rd at noon. But if you are busy, maybe you're working, maybe you are not going to be available to watch it live streamed, later that day on July 23rd, I will be uploading that panel on this channel. Please, if you're interested in that and love the Harley Quinn that they have done, I definitely recommend you checking out that panel because it was really fun to do. Oh, and one last thing, why don't you guys leave in the comments below what Batman stories you would like to see fully realized in a live action movie. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will have more History of the Batman soon right here on YouTube. Remember, Gothamites, all about peace, love, and Batman. Bye.